Okay, start over. Start over. This is Venessa Alford. She's Bank of America, with Bank of America. She's a banking officer. She does pretty much a little bit of everything.
That monocle that says Jack of all trades, that'd be me.
So she's going to talk to you about financial literacy. I've talked to Ms. Davis and know only a little bit about what she's going to talk about. And I don't know what you know about our students, student support services. We have a lot of students who from all over the country and locally as well. Have all kinds of things that we work on in transferring to Ford University.
Which is important, guys. Don't stop. Keep going.
Everybody here is ready for a chance.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
No problem. I am Venessa Alford. I'm from Bank of America here in Independence, Kansas. Wilma actually goes to church with me, and so when she called, I had sucker written on my face, I think, and she said, come talk to my students about financial literacy and just give them ideas about what they need to take care of, what things can happen, and everything else. So I'm going to go over a couple of things here today, and then I will answer your questions. I've been in this job for over 25 years now. I just don't look like I do it. And but please know that I can help you with your banking needs, with your credit needs, with starting out on things. So I am here for you to use. So I have a couple of different things that I wanted to go over with you today. But one thing that I did have you, if you will just pass that around for me, because part of what will be something that will, you can either use it and it will work for you, or it will come back and haunt you. And so that was one of the things that I wanted to go over with today. Many different things affect your credit. Credit can be affected by things like your cell phone. If you don't pay your cell phone on time, that can report against you with the credit bureaus, and which will make it impossible for you to get them at some point. It will make your house insurance or your auto insurance go up because places like that affect you. Another thing that will be affected by that is if you have bad credit, it can affect whether you get a job or not. Because employers now are checking your credit to make sure that you're not a bad risk to them. Because if they see that you are not paying your bills like you should be, then they think that, well, if they don't take care of that for themselves, how will they work for me that way? So please know that they check on things like that. I actually have a friend whose daughter is a good student, but she was a terrible driver and she was always getting speeding tickets. It stopped her from getting a job because she had too many speeding tickets because her employer checked her credit, which showed her speeding tickets out there. So those things do affect you. This piece of paper that I gave you, sorry about that, is just some general information. Two things that are really, really important about your credit are, please be aware that it takes that long for bad credit to show up, and it takes a long time to rebuild your credit. So if you have a cell phone bill that is in your name, make sure you pay it on time. Don't let it go south, because if it does, it will affect your credit. It will affect your auto insurance. It will affect your student loans. It will affect when you get an auto loan or a house loan or anything like that. So please be aware of those things. There are ways for you to protect yourself. Even if you have never had credit yourself in the past, it's a sad but true thing, but sometimes in the past, parents have used children's names and their social security numbers to put utility bills in or credit in, and it could actually affect you even if you never had anything to do with it. There is a way in here, and it's on the left side about halfway down, for you to actually check on what your credit is out there for free. There's an 800 number and there is a website. My suggestion is get on that, check it out, because that way you will actually know whether anything is reporting against you, whether it's good or bad. I will tell you that a score of 680 or higher is good. 680 is average. If it's under 680, you're probably not going to get anybody to give you any credit, like a car loan or a credit card or anything like that. So please just be aware of that, because things will report. Cell phones truly are the one that is usually this generation. Most of you have cell phones. Some of you are responsible for your own bills. Sometimes the parents are still being responsible, but you can still check it and find out if it's reporting against you or against mom or dad. Other things that are out there. Excuse me. Other things that are out there. In the olden days, when I was your age, my very first credit card was a JCPenney's credit card, which I still have. I'm kind of an anal person, so every time I get a bill, I pay it right then. Thank goodness I have instilled that in my two children, because now I'm still on a lot of their stuff, because they were students at the time and they were traveling around in the country, and so I was on their accounts with them. So I still can see what they're doing, even though they're 27 and 21 now and gone from home and everything else. They left mom on there. So since I'm one of these moms, of course, everything they do, I know they are good people. They pay their bills on time, thank goodness, because it would come back and bite me. And if it did that, then they know that I would shut it down. And so they're watching that stuff too. But the very first thing you can do is, like I was talking a while ago, cell phones really do report to your credit. That's not the only thing that you can do. The Credit Card Act of 2010 stopped banks from offering credit cards to students on campuses. I can never do that again because of that. That doesn't mean you can't come see me and ask me questions in my banking center, because then I can tell you more. Yes, ma'am? Oh, I'm sorry. There are different kinds of credit cards that you can do, and I said a while ago that my very first one was a JCPenney's card, because I probably walked into a mall back in the late 70s, and they said, so, if you really want to buy this pair of shoes, we'll give you 10% off if you apply for our credit card. I was stupid and did it. And I got my 10% off or whatever, and walked away with my shoes and everything, ended up being hunky-dory. My suggestion is, if you walk into a place like that and someone offers you something like that, unless you truly want that card, don't do it. Because every time somebody asks you if you want to apply for credit, they're affecting your score. And when they pull your credit, it makes your score go down, which is not a good thing. You always want it to either stay the same or go up. So unless you really truly want that credit card with them, don't do it. A lot of time, the easiest way to start your credit rating is to do what is called a secured credit card, which means you put up money behind it. That way the bank or whoever the financial institution is collateralized on it, has security. You can do that for as little as $300. You put $300 into a savings account, they issue you a credit card on it. You use the card, you pay it back, you use the card, you pay it back. That builds your credit up there a good way, because we can see that you're using the card and you're actually paying it back as the way that you're supposed to. And then, heaven forbid, you did not pay the card, we take the money, that $300 or whatever that's in your account, to pay the debt off that you had against the card. That is a way to start building your credit. That way, when you are ready to buy the car, get the student loan, get the house, whatever, you've got credit out there. And so that is a good thing for you, because then you don't have to start from scratch. So that's a positive thing for you to think about for later on. Over on the right-hand side where it says borrower's responsibility, these are the things that you actually will need to do in order to have good credit rating out there. Of course, I already said number one, pay on time every time. The second part is borrow enough money. Don't borrow more than you need, but borrow enough to take care of what you need. And so, like on the student loan things that you're doing, if you think that you're going to need $2,000, don't just borrow $1,500. Borrow $2,000 if at all possible. But don't borrow $3,000 if you're only going to need $2,000. Just borrow what you need. Don't get more than you need, because then, of course, you have to pay that all back. The third one is really important, and sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do. Pay more than the minimum payment. On credit cards, usually the minimum payment is 3% of what your outstanding balance is. So if you've got a balance of $300 out there, they're probably going to ask you for $10. If at all possible, pay more than that $10 is, because otherwise you're going to be paying on it for years and you'll never see daylight after it. So I hate to say that the banks are bad in that respect, but yeah, they are. They are always going to take your money when you're willing to give it to them. So anytime you can pay them extra, please do. Because that way you know that you're making a headway on it, and you can see the process, the progress that you're making. Number 4 is maintain old accounts. The credit bureaus are really good about keeping things on record for at least 10 years out there. It will affect your credit. If you have credit out there, okay, I'm 50-ish here, 52 actually. I've had credit for the last 35 years because I did start when I was 18 years old. I have old accounts out there that I have never used probably. I usually check my annual credit report once a month to make sure that they have everything correct and all of that. I only close one account per year. I'm not going to go out there and close. I actually have 3 old credit accounts out there that I haven't used in years and years and years, but I'm only going to close one of them